Hey friends, today on Gardening with Creekside, we are going to start the project of planting the entrance beds directly here in front of the nursery. We have been in this space, many times in the past couple of years, and today we are going to, like I said, begin planting and bringing in lots of beautiful color. Now, we've had to kind of tweak this area just a little bit because of water. We've talked about this before. Nothing is flat here at Creekside. There are hills and valleys everywhere here at Creekside Nursery. We are called Creekside Nursery because we have a creek, and it does cut our property. It is literally like right behind this flower bed. It cuts our property from the personal house entrance all the way, separates the nursery. So when you have a creek, all the water flows to the creek, correct? So we have pretty good little hill here in front of me, and if you've been to the nursery, you know that it's a slight decline all the way. So we get water from a mile away, right? It all comes this way. When we have torrential rains, a normal rain, not a problem. Torrential rains are a problem because it comes here and it just cut through this flower bed behind me in two different areas. So we have learned, living on this property for almost 20 years now, that you don't stop water, you try to help it and tell it where to go. This time we literally worked with where the water runs. Jerry took the equipment, and we have two areas where we had major wash this winter that cut right through our viola bed that I think you saw us plant that in the fall. We had violas and ornamental kale in here. Over the winter, we had two major washes. The one over to my left-hand shoulder was not as bad. It was just a small rut. However, this one to my right was really a deep, wide rut that was washed away by all of the water. So we got all of the old flowers out, and then Jerry came in with the bobcat, and where that water ran, he literally just helped pull back more soil. So that way we're going to create basically like a dry creek bed in here. When the rains come again, because they will, that way the water can just run over the rocks and then down into the creek. So speaking of rocks, Andrew has been working the past 2 days getting these creek beds put into place. We had some flagstone left over. We had all these sorts of materials left over from other projects that we had. So we had flagstone, we had larger river rock, and then we had the small decorative gravel. So it really looks very nice. As Jackson said, it looks more like a pathway and a walkway than it does a creek bed. So if you're coming to visit, feel free, you can walk on the creek bed. It'll make it nice and easy. But that way, when the rains come, it will go and it will flow onto the flagstone and then, like I said, down into the creek. Now, when that happened, right, so we put in these two creek beds, basically we kind of divided our flower bed up into different sections, which actually works really fun in a creative design sort of way. So it's not just this one big open massive area. We have now little smaller nooks and crannies that we can plant. Jerry and Andrew brought in just like bulk compost soil to build this area up. So we want the flower beds to be raised up a little bit, so that only aids in the water flowing through the rocks and not cutting through the flower beds. So what we're going to do today is we are going to plant one of these three sections. The largest section is to my right. We're going to hold off on that for another day. Here in the middle, it is a very loose triangle. The front edge, of course, is nice and sharp. Andrew came through with the bed edger, so we have a nice defined edge. And then in the back, it's more rounded. But we're going to work with that. And then, of course, all the way to the far right is where our quickfire fabs are and other areas. So I've got plans for that. We're focusing on this area today. And we're going to keep it really simple. We're only going to use 3 different kinds of plants. There in the middle, you can see that we have coffee cups. We have 2 large coffee cups. These are elephant ears from Proven Winners. They're for us, a tender perennial. I have had some in the trial beds that have faithfully come back for, 4 or 5 years. I got them the year before they were introduced, so whenever that was. So they could and probably will come back for us year after year if we decide to keep them in this design. So they are going to go in the center of the bed, both in the center from left to right and from front to back, because I want them to grow up as one big, huge, massive elephant ear, like one specimen, and then we're going to work around that. Then, surrounding the elephant ears and in behind the elephant ears, we're going to use some caladiums. I do adore caladiums, and so we are going to use the Heart to Heart Lemon Blush Caladium. It is a beautiful shade caladium that has kind of a pinky red center and a nice lemony yellow with a little bit of green on the outside edges. It is a shade caladium. This space gets some morning sun, but that should be fine. We're working with what we have because we have these beautiful, massive trees here. A gorgeous specimen of a tulip poplar right here that does give shade. So we're going to work with that and use these caladiums. Going to surround the coffee cups with those, and then coming down in the front, we're going to use one of my favorite plants, the euphorbias, right? The Diamond series, the Diamond Snow. Diamond Snow will get a little height to it, about, I think it's what, like 15 inches or so, somewhere around there, but it's nice, big, huge pop of white, which is what we want, because that white is going to really stand out from a distance, which again is what we want here in this flower bed. So I just know that the Diamond Snow is going to go across the front. I don't know exactly how this is going to get laid out. We'll figure that out as we go along. I do have 2 of my Power Planter augers. I'm wearing my Power Planter shirt today. So we're going to use the big boy for the coffee cups, because those are 3-gallon containers. So that is the 9-inch auger on that one. So we'll use that, and then I've got the smaller 5-inch for my grande size containers. We did put it on the smaller drill because a lot of this is nice fill soil, right? We brought it in so it's still nice and fluffy and is not tight and compact. So I can use that smaller drill. It is lighter, so when I have areas that are not, really compacted, I do like to use that because it goes a lot faster. It is kind of towards the end of the day. It's like about 3:30 in the afternoon. I've already done one project for today, so I'm going to try to slide in and make this really easy today. So I'm going to get everything laid out, and then I think we're going to keep it really simple. I'm going to get everything laid out and then get them planted, use the augers to drill my holes. I'm going to use the Proven Winners continuous release fertilizer on the annuals, and probably a little biotone on the coffee cups. Why not? I've got a little bit of bag, so I'll use that. And then we'll get this project done and complete, and move on to date night tonight. Yeah, sounds good. Today's project is complete. It is a rather simple design, but it is going to make a huge impact. It already makes a huge impact in this area, and I cannot wait to see it grow and develop. So what we did was, of course, we put the 2 elephant ears, the 2 coffee cups in the center of the bed and planted them essentially as one plant. This is about as close as I could get the containers together. It will not take very long at all for those to fill in all the way and really look like one nice, big, huge coffee cup specimen. So we're using this as a specimen for this bed, and then I just randomly put in there the lemon blush caladium, the front and then surrounding the back. Again, those 2 will get nice and full and thick. Get some height to them. They will be slightly taller than the diamond snow in the front, but make these nice, big, beautiful mounds. Great shade caladium, lovely color, especially with being a shade caladium and being the colors that it is. It's really going to kind of pop and look really nice against the dark foliage of the coffee cups. Now, the diamond snow, it will be that nice, big, huge, thick pop of white, and really they're going to grow, and it's going to be one huge, massive carpet of white flowers right here. You may be thinking, okay, so the coffee cups will say full sun, the diamond snow is going to say sun, but you're putting it in a shade caladium. The coffee cups and the diamond snow are very, very versatile, right? And remember, this does get morning sun, so this gets a good 4-ish, 5-ish hours of sun in the early morning, but then as it comes over these trees, then it goes into the shade. So they all will do really nicely together. This is where it becomes being a student of your own garden and watching your space and really understanding how your space changes or looks throughout not only the day, but also throughout the season. Because in the winter time, of course, all these massive trees, they have lost their leaves, right? So this is a full sun bed, but that is winter. Summertime, they all leaf out, and I'm getting more shade in the back than I am in the front. So just watching and learning and trying to figure out, okay, is this going to work or is that going to work? And the best way to do that is just get out there and try. If a plant thrives and does great, awesome. If you notice that it's struggling, then kind of analyze it, figure out what's going on, and then maybe you need to move it, or maybe you just need to adjust some of your conditions, like how much water it's getting, is it getting enough fertilizer, that kind of thing. Gardening certainly teaches you how to problem solve and analyze and be patient. So this area is looking very nice, very excited about it. Now, the whole bed is on irrigation. Because we were going under a little bit of construction, we went ahead and took those lines and just pulled them out and pulled them in the back. So if you see these brown tubes, that is the drip irrigation. It comes from one source across right near the creek and the culvert, and then it comes through here and in a web of irrigation lines. We were talking about it's probably just going to be easier that we're going to go back to the source right there at the culvert and the creek. We're going to go ahead and cut it, pull all these lines out, get them straightened out, and then rework them through the bed, because they are all on one zone. They all are working together, and I think they're pretty much all one line. I'm not sure that there's a lot of like T's and couplers and elbows in there. I want to say that they're pretty much all one singular line. So that way we're still using the exact same drip tube, but it'll make it a whole lot easier instead of trying to like wrestle that irrigation. We'll probably come up from the back. We'll run the irrigation to the shrubs, then come up through the river rock from the back of the bed of this bed and wind it through here. That is where we have to cut it and do some couplers and join things together. We'll figure that out when we get there. But everybody is nice and well watered. Ground is nice and moist, so we are good to go. This is going to be a fun development as we get these beds all laid out and planted. Going to make a nice welcome for our customers to come see us. So, as always, we thank you for gardening with Creekside. We hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have a fantastic day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.